The American Dream 2.0. Nah, I'm not even sure if there was really a 1.0. But this is kind of on my mind. Like, just thinking about how, like, my grandparents, I guess how their lives and their way of living is like a complete 180 compared to now. How I'm living, how I'm moving throughout society, especially when it comes to like the projected dream that we were told, you know, supposed to be like our goal. I think when they say like the American dream, it's just kind of like the American like goal, you know, because if you can hit this goal, back then you get that house, you have kids, white picket fence, you know, a car or two. Like, he was living the dream. Cookouts on weekends and things like that. Only pushing 40 hours max. One income. One person making the income, you know, could provide for a whole family, wife, kids. All of it, right? So, I'm not too sure that was really, I don't know. I can't speak on how it was back then, right? Because, you know, grandparents ain't around. Plus, it's just a different viewpoint versus somebody that grew up in that time period. I say from like the 70s, 80s to now, 2025, completely different. But I like to call it a dream in quotations, because that's what I think. I think it's like a goal. But like 2.0 now, it ain't no more, you know, trying to get like a house. Seems like people, you know, struggling to pay bills. Everybody, they're trying to make like a renter society. You need two people working in a household. Mother, father working. The birth rates are on the decline. So I feel like the new dream, the new goal is freedom. Especially now with the internet coming into play. It's more of a freelance society to where you can make money kind of on your own, providing your services out on the internet, on like websites and things like that. So doing something like that might be the new dream. Because back then, I mean, you could get a nice factory job. I think my great grandpa was like some kind of factory worker at GM, and like he was like basically set. You know, everybody said he made good money and he provided for wife and about five, six kids or whatever, off that one income, off of working at GM, like a big factory type company. And so with that, I feel like now, especially like technology is getting so advanced, we got to adapt. Technology is getting so advanced, it is cutting jobs, you know, especially like those like heavy like manual jobs where it really don't take too much like brain power. Like, it's not like you got to go to school for 4 years and then you'll know how to work a machine, right? It's kind of like on the job, take a few weeks, start to get the hang of it, whatnot. That's starting to go from AI to just, it seems like it's starting to creep into like the white collar jobs. What it seems like now, especially like in the next like 5 years, I feel like them basic like Excel jobs, I don't know what they be doing. They like crunching numbers. They be throwing them in there, but I think that's gonna get automated. And you see now, like you got like immigrants, or not even, just people from other countries, like especially like India, China, they're kind of taking the work just because, well, they're getting paid less. But that's good money for them over there. In India, like if you're making 20, 30K, like you're living a nice like middle class life over in India. Versus here, 20, 30, like you ain't nothing. Like you kind of like borderline poverty, pretty much, right? Cause I feel like, I don't know, you gotta at least be making 60 a year, kind of to at least float by, but you ain't living no dream, that's for sure. Because especially with people now working more jobs, you're working more than the standard 40 hours like in a week, and it seems like a lot of people are starting to like hate their jobs, so it's not really fulfilling as much. And I feel like a lot of it was fulfilling back in the day too, because people were taking care of like bigger families, so it was kind of more like purpose driven. Because a lot of people, it's hard for people kind of to find their purpose. I recently found mine, but it's hard for people kind of like find their purpose, and they coast along life for so long, and then eventually, you know, like they have a kid, and it's kind of like it revamps them again. Because I see it all the time, like people at work, you know, just throughout the years. I mean, they'll tell you even their experience, just they didn't really know what they were doing before they had a kid, and now, you know, they're like dedicated to working to provide for their kid, you know, which is a good thing. But like back in the day, man, when they're having all these kids, like 5-6 kids in a household, like now it's starting to get down to two in a household. I mean, hell, me, I'm a single child. I'm an only child. Like, but then it's like, because that's what they're saying, like all over. So you'll see it on like media, kind of in the news, you know, birth rates are declining, this and that, like the nuclear families dying. But when I look around my personal life, like my actual family, I see it in real time. Like all my aunts either got one kid, another has 2 kids, and then the other one just had a 3rd kid, right? And then she was done. But then like uncle, he got 2 kids, other one don't have any kids. I got plenty of older cousins, like up in the 30s, pushing 40, you know, no kids. And yeah, I think it is true. Like birth rates are declining, and well, it's kind of like a monetary sense, just because people really aren't making enough. It is not as fulfilling as it once was. So with being this dude mad with being in a new time, oh my god, with being in new times though, I feel like the dream is 2.0. So what we got to do, I think the entrepreneurship life is kind of the way. Obviously you need stepping ground, you need some kind of job. Everybody needs to start with a basic job, right? In order to save up some capital, get some money behind you, and then you could like venture off into your own thing. Obviously, they say when you get, like you work like a full-time job, and then you have like a side hustle, like do something like you're passionate about. But if your main thing is making less than 80K a year, like, is it really worth it? You know, like, I feel like the bare minimum, you need to be making 80K, living off half, like less than half of that, and then stacking the rest. So you can get like a nice foundation where you can save up like 6 months of expenses, maybe that's like 20K, something like that. And then you can start saving some more to where you can start deploying that capital into, say, something, not even doing like a side hustle. Like if you save up enough money, say you got like 12 months of expenses, everything's paid for, and a little bit on top just in case. You got 12 months, you could leave your job and try to start something up full time. And you know you got a timer of 6 months, right? Because you don't want to dip into that full 12 month. So you got 6 months. You break it down and you go after it. Whatever. It could be something, you know, you're passionate about, or you just passionate to get money. Like, I'm sure every business owner is not doing something that, you know, they were solely passionate about. Like the ones running garbage companies, like, you really think they were that passionate about trash? Like, come on now. And it's not like they're like a litter crew, like they're just coming up on the side of the street. That ain't nothing. I mean, you know, so of course it's some money motivated. But I mean, I think that's good, you know. Or if you could get a high paying job, but I don't know. Jobs are kind of risky. You know, I remember when I was in school, they was telling us, go to college, get a 4-year degree, and then you come out, you know, you're basically guaranteed after a few years, like 6 figures, and you never have to like work. You don't have to take on the risk of like being a business owner, like stuff failing. But it's super risky having a job nowadays. Like, your job could let you, they could let you go at any time. Like, I could get back from my stop today and be like, hey, that was your last ride, like, you done, don't come in tomorrow. You know, it's fucked up, but it's like they expect you to, that's why I hate, like, they expect you to give a 2-week notice, but if they were gonna fire you, they're gonna let you get a 2-day notice. But that's besides the point. So anyways, like, having a job is risky in itself, and solely relying on that one income is risky in itself. Now, obviously, like, the business route, it really ain't for everybody. Kind of just because society, to be honest, society can't even function if everybody was business owners, because who's going to work in them businesses? Because you need like a team to run a successful business. No business is going to be crazy, not like profitable, but like running fully to the fullest extent with just one person, right? There's only so much one person can do in like a timely sense. But if you have multiple streams of income, say maybe you save up a few years at your job that's making at least 80K, you saving at least half, right? You start taking that capital, you start deploying it in the stock market. You start doing research on that on the side, to where you could keep growing that capital, and you keep growing it enough to where you could eventually just retire off of it in a faster time. Not like the work 40 years, retiring at 60, 401k, like that. To me, that's honestly dead. And it's crazy when I bring it up to people now. I mean, maybe just because I'm probably the youngest one I talk to, or like out of the people I talk to, because like you got these people are like maybe like mid-30s and up, so their whole mindset is different from mine. Like, I think 401k is a scam, honestly, because they have you put money into the system, lock it up for 20 plus years, and then you could pull it out later, and then you're basically hoping that the younger generation falls into the same Ponzi scheme of putting their money in. You know, it's just like, I don't know, that's how I feel about it. And it's not like crazy returns either. So that's my opinion on it. So obviously people older than me obviously aren't going to relate, because if they just put 10, 15 years of their money in a 401k, they don't want to hear that it was all for nothing. Like, you know, and plus they're not going to listen to some kid. They're like, man, I'm 10, 15, 20 years older than this kid. What is he talking about? But it's honestly like a new age. And I feel like when I get to the age, you know, of being a parent in 10, 20 years, like, my method is probably going to be outdated. Because right now, I think the digital nomad style is like the way to go. Entrepreneurship, running your own thing, multiple streams, investments, stuff like that. Like, being able to just stack your money is like the biggest thing. Especially like consumerism is like all-time highs. And I still don't even get stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Now that I feel like I'm more mature, you realize materialism is like stupid. Because all you're trying to do is just impress people that you really don't even care about. Like, I remember in high school, I mean, I fell victim to it. It was my surrounding. Like, everybody was always trying to get newest shoes and kind of like designer clothes, like Polo, Tommy, stuff like that. Of course, Jordans, Yeezys, stuff like that, whatnot. But it's like the people I messed with most in high school didn't even care about what I was wearing. It was the people that I wasn't even cool heavy with them like that. But I was always trying to get their attention or impress some dumb chick. Like, I don't know. I still drive a beater car. Like my car, I got a 2010 Chevy Malibu, and if I wanted, I definitely could get a newer car. I definitely could. Something with some features too, like, but for what? Like my car gets me A to B. I'm like, eventually, yeah, I do want something nicer, but like for now, like I'm trying to stack up. I'm trying to build a foundation. Like I am truly in the trenches. In order to build a nice foundation, you got to start with the trenches. You got to dig it up. I love that analogy of like your life is kind of like building a house or a skyscraper. Like you don't want to build no skyscraper on sand, with an inch thick like concrete, right? What kind of inch thick slab? What kind of skyscraper you gonna build on that? You're gonna build a foot log, and that's it, and then it's gonna crumble. That's about as far as you can go. And that's basically saying you have no savings. You basically blow everything you make, but you got a little bit of money just to kind of do something. Like you're not gonna get far having an extra $100-200 a month. Like, no, you need more. You need to save more. You need to make more combined. Because yeah, I mean, saving, there's only so much you can save compared to how much you can earn. You can earn exponentially more, right? There's really no limit on how much you can earn, but there's really a limit on how much you can save. Like, you still got to pay rent. Rent is still going to cost you some kind of money. Utilities still going to cost you some kind of money. Sure, you could make sure you always turn off your lights and turn off the water and stuff, but you still got to pay it, you know? There's only so much you can save in. So utilizing the two, saving, you know, not blowing on dumb stuff like designer clothes and flashy cars, but also trying to make more. And that's why I preach so much about getting a CDL, because honestly it has changed my life. Like, just being able to make $80K in my first year, it allowed me just to stack up. One, I'm still staying at home, so my mom got me covered. And then two, I'm stacking, I'm learning, and I'm investing at the same time. So right now I'm building some nice trenches for my foundation. You know, 'cause I'm trying to go big with it. But that's all part of the new American dream. It's too much instant gratification going on, especially with kids like my age, 22, 23, 24. Like, I really haven't met anybody like in real life. Obviously on the internet you can meet all kinds of people with the same mindset or totally off from you, but like in real life where I'm from, like nobody in my age range is thinking about long-term, like investing, trying to build something. Like home ownership, it's seeming like now home ownership is gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be rare. Like, it's gonna be more renters than owners in my age bracket. And I don't know if people just don't care, want to, you know, pretend they don't care. I'm not sure, but I know I'm gonna keep doing me and hopefully spread the message out, because this AI stuff is coming up quick. It's coming up quick. I remember when computer science like jobs were in high demand about 5 years ago, around the pandemic hit. And that's what I was gonna go for, because one, it was in demand, and two, it was paying crazy. And you look now, it's hard to get a job. It's hard to get a job, and then if you get a job, you're not making that much, because it's like a crappy like internship type level job, you know. So something like that. It's just crazy with AI. And now, like, I don't know how it's gonna be with other white collar jobs. I just know about computer science since I was what I was kind of interested in. But yeah, it's definitely gonna get rampant soon. AI is here to stay. As much as people don't want to adapt, it's pretty much the motto: you adapt or you die. Like, might not be in a literal sense, but if you're not willing to change, especially in the direction the future's heading, with all kinds of AI, learning how to utilize it, learning that this is the way we're going, learning that crypto is here to stay. You know, you don't want to be the last one on the S curve, because basically it starts. This is the Bitcoin chart, right? It's the S curve at the bottom, and it shoots up. This is popularity. So you got popularity super high, and then it flattens out again. And once it gets to that top of that S curve and it flattens out, like, you have to be looking at the next newest opportunity. I mean, you only gotta be right once. You ain't always gotta take risky shots. Sure, Bitcoin might seem risky, but imagine you get in now. In 5-10 years, you're up big on it. You ain't gotta take something as risky. Sure, you gotta adapt a little bit, but you ain't gotta go super crazy. Because let's say you keep waiting. Keep waiting. Bitcoin's already done. It's at the top of the S curve. So now you're trying to get in the newest, hottest project. It's even more riskier because of the technology foundation is not as advanced. So it's something to consider. But anybody that's trying to live in the old ways, the working 9 to 5, get by, obviously them people are struggling now. Do you think it's gonna get any better? Last time I checked, it keeps progressively getting worse. So the next 5 years, you really think it's gonna get better? I think it's gonna be straight on the decline. It's a slow decline, you know, it's not a huge jump to the bottom, but it's going down. And it's gonna keep going down. No person in administration, whatever political side, you know, people think that they're on. No side's gonna make a difference. You gotta do what's best for you, and you gotta make a difference in your life. I refuse to believe that someone else is gonna, you know, have an impact on my life without me having a say in it. You're not gonna tell me how I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna tell me how I'm gonna live my life. And that's by putting in the work. It's gonna be a sacrifice. It's that instant gratification that gets people, man. Just think about tomorrow. Just think about tomorrow. Like, literally, just do the hard stuff today, and just tell yourself, all right, tomorrow. Eventually, you keep saying tomorrow so many times, a year's gone by, 2 years, 5 years. You're at a great spot. Just keep grinding.